You think pranks are harmless until the person you targeted kisses you like he means it. I never planned for his lips to feel like that. I never planned to lose myself in the warmth of someone I was supposed to hate. The first time I saw Nathaniel Carter, he was aiming his camera at me across the school courtyard like I was a subject he had already claimed. He wasn't smiling. He rarely did. Nathaniel was the type of guy who looked like the world belonged to him, tall, always dressed like he'd stepped out of some magazine ad. His dark blonde hair falling perfectly messy, his camera hanging at his side like a weapon. And me? I was the kid people called reckless, sarcastic, sometimes charming in the worst possible ways. So when he outshined me in the end-of-year showcase with his moody black and white shots, I swore I'd get him back. Not with fists, not with shouting, but with something that would sting far worse, humiliation. That's when the idea hit me. Love letters. I'd slip them into his locker, into his photo books, even tuck them into the worn leather strap of his camera bag. Fake confessions dripping with desperate, clumsy words. Notes that made him look like someone had a ridiculous, over-the-top crush on him. Your eyes are the color of every sunset I can't reach. Do you know how it feels to choke on the thought of you? I dreamt you kissed me last night, and I woke up with fire in my chest. I thought it would be hilarious. Nathaniel, the untouchable, cool photographer, being stalked by some invisible admirer. I imagined the look on his face, imagined his friends teasing him, imagined him squirming under the spotlight for once. But Nathaniel didn't squirm. He didn't laugh either. He started looking for me, and when his gaze landed, it was sharp, cutting right through the crowd, through the bravado I wore like armor. Every time I caught him staring, my stomach twisted. Not the way I'd expected. It was supposed to be a joke. Why did it suddenly feel like the letters weren't lies anymore? One Thursday evening, the air heavy with rain and the smell of fried food from the diner across the street, I was cutting through the alley behind the photo studio. That's when I heard his footsteps. Slow, certain. "You think you're funny?" he said, voice low, echoing off the brick. I turned, feigning ignorance. "I don't know what you're talking about." But his hand was already gripping one of the letters. The paper was creased, damp from his pocket. He stepped closer. These words, they sound like someone who actually feels them. Someone who's drowning in them. His eyes, usually unreadable, burned. "Was it you?" My throat went dry. Every sarcastic comeback, every shield I'd built it all cracked. I couldn't tell him the truth. Couldn't admit that somewhere between joke and obsession, I'd started meaning every single line. So I laughed, weakly. "You think I'd waste my time writing you love letters?" Nathaniel's jaw tightened, and then before I could blink closed the distance. His lips pressed against mine, rough and searching, like he'd been waiting for this moment and hated himself for it. The world stilled. My body betrayed me, kissed him back. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't perfect. It was anger and confusion and longing colliding in the narrow space between us. My fists bunched in his jacket. His hands slid up to the back of my neck, holding me like I might disappear. When we broke apart, breathless, the silence was heavier than the rain that had started to fall. "You write words like that," he whispered. "And you expect me not to feel something?" I wanted to scream that it had been a prank, that it wasn't real. But my chest ached with the truth. It was real now. Too real. I stepped back, heart pounding so loud it drowned the city noise. "Stay away from me." My voice cracked on the last word. But I didn't mean it, because the moment I walked out of that alley, my lips still burning, I knew something had shifted. The letters had started as lies. Now they were the only truth I had. The next day, I couldn't look at him without replaying the kiss in my head. His lips, the press of his body, the way he'd said those words like he was daring me to deny what was already written all over my face. At school, whispers followed me. People had seen us. Two boys in an alleyway, too close, too careless. In this small town in Michigan, that was enough to ruin you. I laughed it off when my friends joked, but inside, I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff. Nathaniel didn't avoid me. He didn't even pretend. At lunch, he sat across the cafeteria, his camera aimed at me. Click, click. Click. Each shutter was a confession, each photo a challenge. I hated him for it. I hated myself more for wanting him to keep looking. And that was only the beginning, because what started as a prank had turned into something neither of us could walk away from. And in America, in a place where everyone thought they knew your story before you told it, falling in love with another boy meant choosing between silence and survival or risking everything for a chance at something real. The last time I tried to hide from Nathaniel, I ended up finding myself instead. The truth had been gnawing at me for weeks every time I replayed our kiss in the alley. Every time his photos of me surfaced like confessions I never spoke aloud. By the time the senior exhibition came, the school's auditorium buzzing with parents and teachers and restless students, I knew I couldn't keep running. His work was pinned to the white walls in perfect rose-moody portraits, cityscapes dripping with loneliness, and then, suddenly, me. There I was, framed in black and white, eyes caught mid-laugh, mid-frown, mid-battle with everything I refused to name. He hadn't asked permission. He didn't need to, because every picture looked like he had stolen my soul and pinned it on paper. Whispers filled the air. People noticed. They always noticed. And in a town like ours, they didn't keep quiet for long. I left before the show ended, my chest tight. The letters I had written, every fake confession that had turned into my rawest truth, burning a hole in my backpack. Nathaniel found me on the rooftop of the old library that night. It was where I always went when I needed to breathe, above the noise, above the judgment. "You run too much," he said quietly, stepping into the glow of the flickering rooftop light. I swallowed hard. "And you don't run enough." For a moment, all I heard was the wind against the railings. His presence, steady and unbearable, pressed against my ribs. "You started this," he said, eyes never leaving mine. "The letters, the lies. But what I felt when I read them, what I feel when I look at you's not a lie. You can't tell me it is." I gripped the railing, knuckles white. "I wanted to humiliate you. That was the plan. I thought it'd be funny. I thought it would hurt you the way you always outshined me. But then," my voice cracked. Then I couldn't stop, because every word I wrote became real. I pulled the stack of crumpled pages from my bag, thrusting them toward him like they were a weapon, like they might cut me if I held on any longer. "This is me, Nate. This is everything I'm terrified of. Take it, or burn it. Just don't leave me standing here like none of it mattered." His hands didn't shake when he took the letters. He didn't even look at them. He just set them carefully on the rooftop ledge and stepped closer until the heat of him was all I could feel. "You don't get it, do you?" he whispered. "You already gave me everything. Every time you looked at me like you hated me but didn't. Every time you tried to laugh off the truth. Every time you kissed me like you were drowning. That was real. That's what I wanted. Not the letters. You." The air between us tightened. My heart hammered so hard it hurt. "I'm scared," I admitted, softer than I ever thought I could be. "If people know, if they see us, I don't know what happens next." He reached for my hand, his grip warm, grounding. "Then let's not care about them. Just this. Just us. I'll take whatever comes, as long as it's with you." And for the first time in months, I let myself believe him. I leaned forward, closing the space, and our lips met again, different this time. No anger, no pretense. Just the steady, aching truth of two boys who had finally stopped lying to themselves. The world didn't end. The rooftop didn't collapse. The city kept glowing below, indifferent to our rebellion. But inside me, something shifted. We stood there, forehead to forehead, the night wrapping around us like a secret we didn't have to keep anymore. "I never thought love would come from something so stupid," I murmured against his smile. He laughed softly. "Then maybe stupid was exactly what we needed." The weeks that followed weren't easy. Whispers turned into rumors, rumors into pointed stares. My father slammed a door the night he found out. My mother cried in the kitchen until her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Nathaniel's parents, colder but more resigned, told him to keep it quiet if he knew what was good for him. But through it all, we didn't let go. Every insult in the hallway, every snicker in the cafeteria, every silent dinner at home, we carried them together. his fingers brushing mine under the table. My laughter breaking tension when his shoulders grew too heavy. The letters, no longer fake, tucked inside his camera bag like a reminder that what began as a lie had saved us both. By spring, the sting began to fade. People got bored. They always do. And the ones who stayed, the friends who chose love over cruelty, reminded us we weren't as alone as we thought. Nathaniel and I kept kissing in alleys, kept stealing rooftops, kept taking pictures of each other like proof we existed. And every time I looked at him through the lens, I saw not a rival, not a mistake, but the boy who had taken my prank and turned it into the only truth that mattered. Love. Not perfect, not easy, but ours. And when he framed the last photo of the year, standing in the rain, head tilted back, laughing like I had finally learned how to breathe, I knew the letters had led us exactly where we were meant to be. Because sometimes the lies we tell become the truths we were too afraid to say. And sometimes, if you're lucky, the boy you tried to ruin will be the one who saves you instead. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.